Hello, and welcome to today's video. I figured today, since I'm wearing my lovely tax shirt, it would be interesting to talk about taxes. I also have to make sure that I finish figuring out and paying my taxes because I have not done that yet. I've gotten it mostly figured out, but this is my first year doing any part of my taxes on my own. So first I'll explain. So my mom has a degree in accounting. Very convenient thing to have. And so in the past, she has always done my taxes for me. I just give her like the documents and she just does them. And I was never a part of like anything during the process other than giving her the papers. And she did them, she explained stuff to me and then I was like, cool, so you're good. And like it was pretty low key in the past. I typically got returns and that was pretty cool. I was always excited for that. But yeah, so in the past, my mom would always do my taxes for me, and I was so grateful for it. And like, it's the best. I just legitimately would give her my stuff. She would do them, and then I always felt slightly bad because she would always be so worried about doing them wrong. She's like, I don't mind doing them. I'm just worried about messing them up. And I'm just like, it would be way worse if I did it myself, Mom. So even if you do mess up, like, I'm just grateful that you were doing them for me. So it was a great setup, but obviously this is my first year being married, and so my husband and I decided that we were going to be filing jointly, and I was like, cool, so how do we want to go about this? Like, my mom offered to help us with it, but it's kind of complicated since my husband and I both run businesses, and so ultimately we decided that we were just going to do it on our own, and like, my husband kind of knew what to do from some past experience with it, and I was just like, yeah, I will give you my papers. I will help how you can tell me how to help. I just don't know what I'm doing. I've never done my own taxes before. But so he got all of his stuff filled out, and we started working on filling out mine just like through TurboTax. And it was definitely slightly more complicated than I was expecting. This year was definitely different because in the past, it's largely been like through like whatever just random little jobs I had. But last year I did little to no work for other people and mostly was just self-employed. And so it was a bit of a change going from normal job taxes to self-employment. And unfortunately, with self-employment, it's not like I was really setting tax money aside. It doesn't work the same as just getting a paycheck. And so I unfortunately owe a lot this year, which I'm not very excited about. I was hoping that it wouldn't be too bad, just because of all the expenses that I've had for my business. But I realized that most of last year, I really was keeping my expenses minimal. So now that feels a lot more unfortunate because it means I have to pay more taxes. And so that is a little bit sad. I thought that I had still made a small enough amount of money that like there wasn't really going to be any taxes, but the US government said, "No, fam, give us your money." And I'm just like, okay. Because despite my shirt message, I am too afraid of the government to not pay my taxes. As much as I hate them, I really hate taxes. Passionately. Sales taxes, oh my gosh, don't get me started. Especially the fact that like we always have to add the sales tax after the fact. It's like you look at the price tag and that's not the price. That kills me. That's why in my card shop, I include tax in all of the prices. I think it is so much more reasonable to include the tax on the price tag. And like I don't even mention it because like a lot of people don't even think about taxes when they buy from me just because I run my shop out of the front room of my parents' house. Like it's not a normal shop, but that doesn't change the fact that I have to collect and pay taxes, right? And so yeah, it's like I have to pay taxes on the things that I sell. Like that is how it works. And so a lot of people don't even realize it, but like the prices that I offer include taxes in them. And so some people like get upset with me when I tell them my prices. They're like, why are these all like above what these things go for? Like at Walmart or even on TCG Player if they're going off of market price. And I'm like, well, that's because I include taxes in all the prices. Because I don't believe in adding it on afterwards and being like, oh, so actually your total is more than you thought it was going to be. Just for fun. Just because the government says so. Sorry. Like, no. Absolutely not. I'm not about that. And so that's one thing that I, like, as much as I want to offer people discounts, it's like if I offer people discounts, it's essentially just agreeing to pay their sales tax for them. Which, as much as I would love to be able to pay other people's sales tax, I wouldn't. I can't even finish that sentence without my body just being like, no, I hate sales tax. I hate it so much. I cannot act like I want to pay more sales tax. No. So that's why I really struggle with like when people want like big discounts or even just like small discounts. And I'm like, well, you see, I have to pay more money to the government in your stead, basically, if you want this at a discounted price. And like, don't get me wrong, I want to be able to offer it to you at a discount, but if I'm taking the hit of all of the sales tax, I can't do that. Like, I'm not making enough money right now to pay your sales tax for you. So please just pay your sales tax. And like, don't get me wrong, there are definitely times that I'll still like let people have discounts, but I try to like keep it to when people are buying large lots or if they're buying things that I actually am getting like okay margins on. Because admittedly, not everything that I sell I'm making the best margins on. At this point, there are very much so some things that it's like I just don't have the space to store them, so I'm selling them for like whatever I can get for them. But yeah, so it kind of depends on the product, but at the end of the day, it just makes me sad because I know that there are taxes being paid. And like, you know, of course there's the argument, it's like, well, taxes, they're used to like better the country and like do important things like road construction. And I'm like, some of them go to important things, some of them do not. However, too much goes to unimportant things. I would dare say a very significant percentage of the taxes I pay go to things that I don't think that they should go to, personally. Because somebody else, aka the government, thinks that that is where my tax money should go, but I don't agree with what they do with a lot of tax money. Like a while back, I made a video essentially asking people, because I had this thought and I was like, so when city buildings have like events and stuff, or like just have decor in their, like the lobby of the city building, like who's paying for that? So I asked that question. I asked it on the internet because people on the internet are cool and like answering my questions. Let me tell you, it is my favorite thing to just ask people questions on the internet. Like, I get so much information. It's fantastic. It's like doing mini polls, and then I learn so much more about the world, and it's fun. But so I asked people, I'm like, who pays for those decorations? Who pays for the streamers? Like ribbons and bows? So, the consensus I got was I had a lot of people that actually like worked for cities and stuff before Respond, as well as a bunch of random people. But some people were like, well, at the place I worked, they did use tax money, and I'm just like, I hate that. I really hate that. Other places though, they're like, it was like funded by like, you know, the people that worked there, or like they would do fundraising events specifically to get money for things like that. And then a lot of others were like, but that wasn't enough, so we supplemented it like with tax money. And I'm like, okay. It was a time I didn't want to be right, but I was unfortunately right. The government does sometimes use my tax money to buy streamers. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some people that don't mind if their tax money goes to streamers and ribbons and bows. I however, do mind. And obviously that's not the worst thing that tax money goes through. There are much worse things. Stuff that I definitely don't agree with, but that is just the example that I asked my question about, and I was not very happy with the response. So I have a lot of issues with taxes, but I still pay them because, like I said, I'm afraid of the government, and at the end of the day, I live in the United States of America. I live here. So ultimately, I do have to do what the people in charge of the United States of America say, and they say pay taxes. I gotta respect that. But one day, when I live in my own country, hopefully, I will not be charging taxes. In fact, I want to be one of those countries that their government is like self-sufficient in terms of like it runs itself just through like the smart, strategic, business-minded things that they do. Instead of just being like, oh, you live here? You're barely making it by day to day? Oh, well, cool. Give me a percentage of all of the money you make so that we can keep our little country running. No, not for me, not for me. So one day, hopefully, I won't have to live in a society like that. Unfortunately, for now, I do, so I will respect it and deal with it. But hopefully not forever. Not forever. I can't. I just desperately hope that one day I'm in a place in my life where I don't have to pay taxes anymore. So yeah, wish me luck on finding somewhere, somehow, some way to not have to pay taxes. Because like, you know, my shirt, great message, but ideally, I don't want to have to break the law. So if the law aligns with me not having to pay taxes, best case scenario. But yeah, so that is a little bit about my experience with taxes. I'm wearing this shirt today to remind myself to talk to my husband about finishing up our taxes so that I can make sure that I don't break the law, because I would like to follow the law and, you know, not get in trouble. But yeah, so taxes, I hate them. The end. Let me know what you guys think of taxes down in the comment below. Maybe some of you guys are getting tax returns, so you're pumped. Good for you. I'm happy for you if you're getting a tax return, because it's fun. And it's my favorite when, like, people will come to, like, buy Pokemon cards for me, and they're like, I just got my tax return. Like, I can actually buy the things I want. And I'm just like, yes, let's get you the spice today. And it's so fun. But yeah, I don't get a return this year, so it's just like... sad times indeed. But yeah, that is all. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.